What if you needed a car that could do it all? Drop the kids to school, maybe a little bit of off-roading, but then have a little bit of a play-in. Well, an M4 is probably not your choice. But this, well, this might be. That's because this is the X3 M50, the brand new one, the one we're here to see in Germany. Well, a very wet and rainy Germany, nonetheless. Essentially the newest performance SUV that they now have on offer. Under the bonnet and behind these light-up kidney grills, you get, of course, a inline-6 turbo engine. This engine is essentially the technical update 2 of the B58. Essentially, it's a B58 TU2. Together with a 48-volt hybrid system, it puts out a combined output of 398 horsepower. I'm not going to lie, for a crossover in 2024, that sounds fairly fruity. Because it's the M50 model, you do of course get M badges everywhere. There's another one there, and we get M performance brakes. As well as that, you get M mirror caps, and around the back of this actually quite nice design, I do quite like this to be honest, you get of course the M50 badge, where you get 4 real exhaust tips. On the inside, the cabin is typically modern BMW. So of course we have a lovely sporty interior, we have that massive screen that goes across to the driver's side, as well as then these light elements in the door as well, with this capacitive control for the vents, for these little vents by the door. You of course get a sporty steering wheel with an M badge on the bottom, and you get this red 12 o'clock marker and big flappy paddles. But it's incredibly wet and rainy out here, so let's take this thing for a drive and see what it's like. We now have this car in sport mode, so it should make a couple of pops and bangs, it should make a couple of nice sounds as we drive. With these lovely big paddles, shifts quite nicely actually. I kind of prefer the shifting of this versus the M135i. It's nice to have a car like this in 2024. There was a couple of years ago, before I started making videos about cars, where I thought that these kind of cars would be a thing of the past. That is nice for an SUV. Bear in mind, this is an SUV and the X3 has grown so much over the last few years. This feels like just the slightest smidge below the original X5 in terms of like how we're sitting, you know, the size of this car as well, but also performance. Like this is very close, if not even above, what the highest spec of original V8 X5 would have been. It's a really nice place to be as well, to be honest. And I'm getting into that stage of my life now where things are going a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit older. I'm getting closer to 30, which I know some of you guys will watch this and be like, oh, don't complain about getting old when you're getting close to 30, but I'm kind of worried about that, and it's happening. But at the same time, I feel like I am in my phase now of liking SUVs. I like comfort, but I also like performance. And at the moment, I'm kind of in a market for something like an old Cayenne or an old X5. So when I get chances to spend time with new SUVs, for example, recently the Volkswagen Touareg or even the Audi Q7 hybrid thing, that mad gold, secure gold colour, or desert camo as I like to call it, I kind of get a bit more of appreciation for this class of car. If anyone wants to let me out of this roundabout, that would be lovely. Because we do have a flight to catch later on. No, nobody wants to let me out. So what we'll do is we'll throw it into sport. And for an SUV, that is a nice amount of power. It's a nice amount of aggression. It's not overly aggressive. I don't think it needs to be overly aggressive either. The B58 is just such a good sounding engine when it's left alone. Please don't put exhaust on these because they sound absolutely terrible with exhaust. But when they're left alone, they're quite nice. I think this is the road we went yesterday. Actually, let's just put it into a normal drive mode. Actually, why would I do that? Whoever's buying an X3 M50 is going to spend a lot of their time in this mode if they're looking for fun. I think this is really what I want out of my next car. I want something that like has a good, about a 3-cylinder turbo engine. I think that is the sweet spot. Whether it's a V6 or an inline 6 even, inline 6 is the ideal for me, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see what it goes like. So let's put it in sport. It's good. Loads of pops and bangs, I like that. But then what if we went to one of the other modes? Let's go to efficient. And then it becomes just a really nice, comfortable cruiser. I really like this. This is a really nice car. Really enjoyable car too, to be fair. It kind of just wants to go. And I like that. I like these smaller cars, these inline six turbo engines that just want to go. They just have this like readiness. I think the pinnacle of every BMW is always an inline six, and especially now an inline six turbo. They just have this readiness, this willingness, this wanting to go. Sometimes I find the V8s can be a little bit like, oh, are we going now? Or sometimes the four cylinders are like, we are going. But these are like the right balance. They're like, oh yes, we're going. We are going. BMW in recent years, it's like they've kind of pulled it back. They got over all of their woes of mad grills, and they're still doing it. BMW design language could do with a little bit more of consistency, especially we're here at the launch of both the 1 Series and the M135i that I tested yesterday, and now the X3 M50, and they both look like very different cars. Both in for very different markets. I 100% understand and appreciate that, but they do look like very different cars. Like you'd kind of fail to realize that they're launched at the same time. I think this design language that they have with these cars, this new X3, and like even though it's kind of Marmite, the design of like the i5 or the new M5, I think it's closer to what they should be. I think if you're gonna have two design languages, at least make them two good design languages. I'm not really 100% keen on the Kia Peugeot lookalike of the 1 Series at the moment. Like genuinely, the back of it could have been a 1 Series, it could have been a Peugeot, it could have been it could have even been a Kia Ceed for all I know. It's not that stand out. And down below I'm also going to link the video of my whole trip to Germany, to Munich, where we got to try out stuff like the Mixed Reality, check out the brand new BMW M135i as well, and yeah, to be honest, it was a brilliant trip, and yeah, it's going to be linked down below. It's time to get to the airport. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. Also, please don't follow or subscribe to Retrograde if you don't like old school and classic cars, or my occasional thoughts on modern performance cars like this BMW X3 M50. We'll see you as always in the next video, and a massive thank you as well to BMW Ireland for bringing me out here. We'll see you as always in the next video. Cheers, take care, bye bye.